Okay, I think we should kick things off with Al Green because
Yeah.
this is really important what's going on. Um, I think a lot of people have pushed back against the Democrats, and rightfully so, for the last several months, saying they're not doing enough, they're not being loud enough. I do think some of them are starting to make a mark. But do you want to share a little bit about what you've been reading and hearing around Al Green and articles of impeachment being brought?
Right. So this came across the wire a few days ago,
Hmm.
and I made sure to post it on here on Substack. So I posted a note, got quite a few people liking it, restacking it. So kind of just read a
Yeah.
couple little sentences here from what Al Green said. So he said that I will not allow the twice impeached 34-time convicted felon, full-time Don the con man, and tinhorn de facto dictator to destroy American democracy, excuse me.
Yeah.
Impeachment is the constitutionally accorded remedy
Mhm.
for the tin horn dictator, and I'm coming for you, Mr. President. The
Woo!
world will know why you should be impeached when I present my articles of impeachment on the floor of the House of Representatives. And as you were saying earlier, he plans on doing so within this month.
Yeah.
So people keep talking about impeachment. This is,
Hmm.
this is like the second time now that we're here to talk about people bringing articles of impeachment to the floor directly, not just like saying I might do this, but saying I'm definitely going to do this. Another congressman did this up in Michigan, I think just
Hmm.
earlier last
Hmm.
week. I do forget his name. I think he's out of the Detroit area.
Hmm.
But yeah, we have been asking for Democrats to do more. That takes a variety of different ways that you can go about, quote unquote, doing more. But yes, people have been asking, why isn't the president being impeached right now? And
Yeah.
so, there is a logical reason for that. Specifically, the articles, will only be brought to the floor of the Speaker of the House allows them to be. We know that that is in
Right.
Republican control right now. But, the thing that I've been arguing about, Natalie, is
Tell
that
me.
even though you can't actually impeach the president because the Democrats do not have control over the House, I still think it is important to bring articles of impeachment to the floor for the very reason that I think if you are not talking about impeachment, then you are essentially saying that the actions of the president currently right now are not worthy of impeachment.
Yeah.
So I think the Democrats, I think it's important for history's sake. I think it's important just to be signaling to the base that
Yeah.
no, we do not condone this. No, we are not okay with this. Yes, what he is doing right now is worthy of impeachment. And so, yes,
Yeah.
I do think that it's very important for, representatives like Al Green to be bringing articles of impeachment to the floor. And I'm happy that he's doing so.
Yeah. And if you're just joining us, I'm Natalie Bencivenga. This is Desmond Price of Independent Thought. Please check out our Substacks and subscribe to us. And to your point, this person playing devil's advocate, maybe not, A Chip says he doesn't have and won't have them. So what is this going to accomplish? And I think you just kind of hit the nail on the head with what you said, because this has been my frustration is people on the one hand are demanding action from the Democrats. We
Right.
can't do a lot, right? And the people that are then standing up and going on an anti-oligarchy tour or bringing articles of impeachment or going on Fox News and bashing the Republicans, all the things that they can do, it's you're not doing enough. What do you want them to do? And in this moment, I think the best thing we can do is be speaking every single day about how
Mm.
this isn't normal. We're not normalizing this. This is wrong. And bringing articles of impeachment to the forefront is yet another way of saying we are standing up for what is right, even if it can't go anywhere in this moment, to show that we have this level of momentum of interest in saying we would do this if we had the votes could then
Yeah.
trigger people to be like, okay, well, when midterms come up, how many votes do we really need to get the Democrats back in power to actually make these things happen and go across the finish line? Because these numbers aren't that far away. Like, it's a tight situation here. So all we need to do is flip a few places. And so this idea of like, well, we can't do anything, so we shouldn't do anything, energy, I'm not here for it. I'm not here
No.
for it. And, to your point, I was reading this article from The Hill, and Al Green also said, we need a Senate that will convict him this time. And I want you to know from my heart, I understand that he is a Goliath. He has control of the generals and the military. He has control of the Justice Department. He has control of the Republican Party. But my friends, for every Goliath, there is a David. And I want you to know this David is going to bring articles of impeachment. I'm coming for you. And he says a lot more. And that, to me, is the rallying cry that we need. That is why these protests that I've been attending and reporting on. That is why the anti-oligarchy tour, all of it is so important, because it's not about whether or not we can physically remove him yet. It's, can we garner the will to do so? And all
Yeah.
of this, to me, feeds into that momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the last thing that I want to see right now is Democrats, because this is essentially what we were, killing them for early in this administration in the first month, being like,
Yeah,
oh, well, we don't have legislative power. We can't actually order investigations of the president. We can't actually stop anything that he's doing. So let's just sit back and just kind of like do, just let
same.
him. Yeah, just let him do
Yeah,
whatever he wants, and then we will keep, like just pointing it out in the media. That is essentially Chuck Schumer's playbook, the
I
one that
know.
we've all been asking him to step down over, right?
Right.
So, no, will impeaching Donald Trump actually remove him from office in this current session? No, it will not. No, it will
Right.
not. But the
Right.
question then becomes is doing this act still an important thing? And I think that the answer is unequivocally yes. I do
Yeah.
think it is. Even though it won't have the outcome that we all want, I do think that applying consistent pressure,
Hmm.
putting people on the record, and
Hmm.
essentially signaling to the American people that we think that what he's doing right now are crimes
Yeah.
worth removal of office. I think
Yeah.
that that is an important thing to continuously be saying over and over and over again. And so, yes, I am happy that Al Green's doing this, and I hope that more people start doing this, because at the end of the day, Donald Trump isn't just doing one illegal act. There are numerous illegal acts happening in this administration right now, and I think they have to be continually put on blast for that.
We've impeached him for a lot less. And so I think it makes total sense to continue this
Yeah,
energy forward. And this person from American Citizen said, what are we going to do to force the Supreme Court judges to uphold their oath of office, to uphold the Constitution, Amendment 14, all men are equal, and make them reverse presidential immunity or fire the judges? I mean, I think this once again is a situation that has been brought on. And I hate to say it, but it's like, I think the Democrats have really been asleep at the wheel for many, many cycles now. Like, we could have solidified Roe v. Wade into our Constitution. We could have done a lot of things to strengthen the Voting Rights Act. We could have overturned Citizens United. There were multiple opportunities. And now we're in a position that I think a lot of them never thought we would be in. And they kept using these issues and dangling them in front of their constituents time and time again. And now they're not going to be able to do that anymore. And like Tim Walz said recently, we're not going to get voted in until we actually say we're going to give everybody universal health care and follow through on it. Like, the
yeah.
times of Democrats sort of resting on their laurels and using these human rights issues as carrots to vote for them, it ain't going to work anymore. So I don't really know what the answer is with the Supreme Court at this moment, other than I'm hoping that they have surprised us on a few things and stood against Trump on a few things, and perhaps they're also starting to feel the weight of public scrutiny, and perhaps that will be enough. But they also don't have an ethics oversight committee on them, so that's another thing that needs to change. Why are they exempt from that?
I I have no idea. And they shouldn't be. In an ideal world, and I would love to just continue to push for this, because I think, like, as we continue to have these conversations in the public, that is how we apply public pressure to these politicians, by talking about these issues over and over again.
Right.
I want Supreme Court justices to have terms. And I
Thank
want that.
you.
I also think that this is actually not as common as a thing, so you might disagree with me on this. I think they should be nationally elected. And I do not shy away from this position whatsoever. Some people think that it would actually make the situation worse. I do
Hmm.
not. I think we could elect judges at every level at the state level. Just did so here in my state of Montana. We elect Supreme Court justice for the state, local judges here in your local municipality. So I do not understand why we can't apply that to the Supreme Court as well. I think it would probably have better outcomes, because we would actually be having people that aren't just installed in there by the
Yeah.
presidents. We never know who they're going to be. So, yes, I do think that maybe if some of these justices did actually have the scrutiny of having to deal with an election, that maybe they would act differently. So that's just how I feel about it.
Not only do I think you're right on that, I'm going to take it a step further. I think these cabinet members shouldn't be just appointed by the president either, because now we're really seeing the issue with that. Like, I'm sorry, RFK Jr., Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi, like, these people are not fit to serve in public office at
No.
any level, let alone at this level, and be wreaking such havoc on all of our lives. And so, I really think a lot of the things that I used to feel very strongly about one way, I'm kind of flipping on, because
Right.
we're now seeing the limits of the understanding that the person in office has to be willing to uphold the Constitution. And this man is not. So his choices within cabinet members, picking them and picking the Supreme Court, he's not adhering to sort of this unspoken rule of decency. And
Yeah.
so here we are.